So you're looking out those old windows and doors, and all you see is fog, fog, and more fog.
This is the Elegant Homes Podcast with your home improvement expert, Don Reilly. Don gives you weekly tips on the biggest investment you'll ever make, your home. Plus, Don talks to industry's leading professionals to make your home elegant. The Elegant Homes Podcast with Don Reilly is powered by Marshall Chevrolet in Carrollton, Kentucky.
Welcome back to another episode of Elegant Homes. I'm your host, Don Reilly, where we make every home elegant, one home at a time. Well, fall is upon us, and I'm telling you, the leaves are starting to fall, and it won't be soon till all the trick-or-treaters will be out there asking and begging for some candy. And, you know, this time of year is when people start thinking about windows. You start getting that nasty sweatiness coming on your window, what I call seal failure. It happens every year. And you'll start getting moisture in between the two panes, your 7/8 inch of dead air space in between your glass if you got a double pane window. Now, if you have a single pane, you'll start getting a lot of sweating on the inside. And what I tell people, this is a concern for many reasons, because you're losing energy inside the home. 1-inch crack, crevice, or hole inside your home on any multiple window can lose you 35 to 45% out of every $100 you spend every month. I was just with a guy yesterday on an estimate looking at some windows. He had new builder grade windows, which were Polaris, that were put in about 11 years ago. All the seals were broke. He's got fog coming inside the windows. And it's very interesting, as we're walking around the windows, I can point out at least 11 or 12 different crack, crevices, or holes inside the windows. So it's almost like you're trying to heat your house with a brick out. So I could go to your house, take a brick out, and you're heating your home with a big hole in your wall. Now, if you have multiple windows and they have 1-inch crack, crevice, or hole in those, it's like trying to heat your house with a whole section of bricks out. And if you have a patio door or a storm door that has cracks, crevices, or holes in it, you might as well just cut one of your walls out, because your heating and cooling is going right out the window, and it's costing you money. So I tell people we can button your house up. So what we do is we come in, we do a free estimate for you. We'll actually evaluate every window in the home. If they're wood, vinyl, sometimes people have plastic. So we will actually evaluate those. We'll use what we call a radiometer. It's a little gun that you point towards the window. We see what the loss of energy is on that particular window. And wherever that rating comes in at, we calculate all the windows together, and we give you a figure that you're losing, 20%, 30%. Sometimes it's even high as 50%. You're losing on your heating and emissions inside your home. Emissions is big. So basically what we do is we come in and put a window wall unit in. Now, on your drywall, you have an R13, which is your basically your drywall return. So you have 2x4 studs. You have insulation, and then you have a 1/4 inch or a 3/8 drywall, and that gives you about an R rating of R13. So all of a sudden we come in, we put a vinyl window in or a wood window in that has a 2.1 rating or a 5.1 rating on the glass and the frame. Now, everything we do is welded frames, welded sashes, so we don't screw and glue windows together. That's a big problem in our industry today, is a lot of these companies, they screw and glue windows together. You'll notice Polaris does it, a lot of these other lower end brands. So we particularly use an American window, which is a Good Housekeeping seal of approval. I've been selling this window for over 20 years. It's a great product. Lifetime warranty, as long as you own the house or live in it. It is transferable if you ever sell the house, so you can transfer the warranty. Here's another little tip for all you folks out there listening to the Elegant Home Podcast. In the state of Kentucky, if you're in Kentucky or Ohio, lifetime only means 8 years, unless otherwise stipulated. In our contract, it's stipulated for as long as you own the house or live in it. So watch out for the small print when you go to purchase windows, doors, any kind of purchase of home improvements. Look at the small print. Our labor is a 2-year labor warranty. So we give you 2 years. If anything's going to happen to those windows or doors that we installed with the installation, it's going to happen within the first 2 years. So make sure you look at the contract, read the small print. If you're like me and you got to put your spectacles on, I have to go down and look at that small print, because sometimes it says in there 8 years. So most people don't realize that. I'll tell you a funny story is me and my wife bought a refrigerator probably about 6 years ago, and the ice maker went out, and I had no clue. It was almost 7 years. We had it for about 7 years, and so all of a sudden I'm like, well, we'll call Frigidaire. So we called them. They said, oh, look at your paperwork. Your warranty's only good for 8 years. And I said, oh, really? And so I looked at the paperwork, and sure enough, they were right. I mean, my warranty was only good for 8 years, and in the state of Kentucky. So I had to pay to put a new motor in this thing so I had water, or it was go buy another $3,500 Frigidaire. So people, I try to educate people to read that small print, because if you don't read the small print, the end user, which is you, the buyer, could end up losing money. And I tell people, so very important. Warranties are very important today. So people are very hip to warranties. They're on the line. They're checking warranties out. But I always say read that small print, because, whether you're buying windows from me or doors from me or another company, make sure that those are a true lifetime window. So the window we're going to put in, or the doors we're going to put in, are a true lifetime window and door. So that means if anything happens to that window or door within the span of your home, so if you live there 20 years, you can call us up. Of course, you'll have to pay us for the labor if it's past 2 years, but because we got a 2-year labor warranty. But anything that happens to that door or window, we can go back to the manufacturer, and if you got glass breakage or seal failure, if something happens, I can get that taken care of for you, no cost to you except for the installation. Sometimes seal failure happens even on our window. I'm just being totally honest with you. Sometimes the factory can make a window, it gets a little stress crack in it, you don't realize that we put the windows in. 5 years you're calling me saying, Don, I got fog in my window. But the nice thing is we got a lifetime warranty. So we take that sash out, put that new sash back in for you, and you're brand new again. We throw the old one out. It takes about 2 minutes. So that particular application don't cost you anything. But if we have to pull a whole window out and put a new window back in, we have to charge you for the installation. So these are just tips for the wise. So when you're out there shopping for windows or doors, make sure that you're reading that small print, because lifetime warranty only means 8 years in the state of Ohio and Kentucky. Hey, this is Don Reilly. You're listening to Elegant Homes. Just a word for the wise. Window season is here. We'll be right back.
We talk about four wheels. I get excited about talking about these guys, Marshall Chevrolet in Carrollton, Kentucky. They got one of the best selection of vehicles on the market, from Equinox to Blazers to Chevy trucks to, well, wait a minute, Chevy trucks? I just bought a Chevy truck from Marshall Chevrolet. These guys are the best. Also, if you just want a plain Silverado, they got them. Full selection, great staff. They will pick the vehicle that you want and give you the best deal they can. And these guys are always friendly and courteous. Stop out to Marshall Chevrolet, Carrollton, Kentucky, and tell them Don Reilly from Elegant Homes Podcast sent you and your family.
The Marshall Auto Group has grown into one of the largest dealer groups in the state of Kentucky, and we're right in your backyard. With locations in Dry Ridge, Crittenden, and Florence, we're convenient and easy to get to. Plus, we have hundreds of new and used vehicles priced to make it worth your drive. We're a family-run business, making us easy to deal with. Come see us. Marshall Dry Ridge Toyota, Marshall Chrysler Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Marshall Motors of Florence, and Marshall Power Sports. The Marshall Auto Group, easy to get to, easy to deal with.
Welcome back to Elegant Homes. I'm your host, Don Reilly. We took a short break there. We're talking about windows. It's that time of year when that drafty old window, you're sitting next drinking your coffee in the morning, you feel that draft coming in, and you're like, man, I got to do something with these windows. Or you're sitting next to that door, that patio door, that kitchen door, and you got air coming through the bottom. You're like, man, I got to do something with this. So the nice thing about windows and door replacements, here's one of the big things I always tell people. The first thing people tell me when I go back into the home and we've put the new windows or doors in, of course, they don't feel the air infiltration anymore, which is really nice. But the other thing they tell me is how much quieter their home is. So that those windows and doors bring that decibel level down to about 66%. And what that means is, your barking dogs, flying airplanes, kids playing outside, can be a lot quieter. So if you're the type of person that goes home and takes that midday nap on a weekend and you don't want to worry about, hearing the kids next door playing, you just shut that window, lock it, and basically you sleep and you hear nothing. So it's very nice because, and what actually causes that is that's that argon gas in between the two panes of that air gas, or the air that's in between the two panes of glass in the window. So what that does is it cuts that decibel level down, and you basically got a sound barrier from the outside to the inside. Because argon gas, it's an inert gas. It's in the atmosphere. You're breathing it. And most people don't realize it's not dangerous. So if that window breaks, the gas is not going to come out and kill you. It's just, like I said, we're breathing argon right now. It's in our atmosphere. But what we do is we condense that down in the factory. And it's so cool to go to the factory and watch the guys pump that argon into those windows. If you're geeky like that and you like window, I love home improvement stuff. So I like to watch them. They slide the pump in there and they pump that argon in. And you can see it fills the window up. And they pull it out, they seal it, and that window's got argon in it forever. So, and that separates hot from cold. Now let's talk a little bit about Solar Band 60. This is the new film that they are floating and laminating on all windows at the factories now. Now there used to be what we called a spray-on application of low E. And being in this industry for 22 years, you learn all the tricks and the trades of this business. And I tell people, I'm always educating myself as a smart home improvement business owner on what I can do to give my customer more for their buck. And what I mean by that is I want to make sure that, not only do I make your home elegant, but you're getting your dollar's worth when I come in and put products in your home. So now we use a hard coat of low E. And what I mean by that, that Solar Band 60, I said low E. So we're putting the Solar Band 60 in it. So basically at PPG is who makes our glass. When they roll that glass out, okay, and that first piece of glass is made for the double strength glass, then they put a film over top of Solar Band 60 over top of that glass when it's coming out from the sand. And basically they form that glass. And then what they do is they put that film on there. Now, this is like putting a pair of sunglasses actually on your windows. So it's going to let the UV light in, but it's going to keep the UV rays out. So you ever had a vehicle and you had those old faded seats? Imagine if sunlight come in through your new windows and faded all your furniture and your carpets. You'd be very upset. So with Solar Band 60, this eliminates that. It stops it in its tracks. So what this does, it lets the UV or the rays in, the heat, the warmth, but it keeps those rays, the sun rays that are damaging to your drapes, your carpet, your furniture, keeps those out. So Solar Band 60 is very cool. It puts about 1/8 to 1/9% of a tint to your windows. So you will notice a little bit of a tint once it's in there, especially as the window gets bigger. Now in smaller windows, you probably won't notice as much, but as the window gets bigger, you'll notice that they'll have a little bit of a tint to them. So also too, you might have these guys come in your home who are trying to sell you all these crazy products, crazy window brands. I don't like to mention any, but there's some out there you got to watch because I tell these guys, and this is where we get to the point in our segment. We put the hammer down on a lot of these guys, and we like to talk about this because these guys come in and they want to sell you windows that are, they're not fusion welded. They're screwed and glued together. You got to be careful to watch out. Make sure that they're not using sprayed on Solar Band 60. Or make sure that they got low E. And you hear these, we'll do these windows for $199. Okay. Well, that's a basic stripped down window. So it has nothing in it. So the time you add low E and Solar Band 60 and welded frames and welded sashes, it's getting pretty pricey, right? So make sure when these guys come in and talk to you about these products that they're selling you something that is very comparable to other companies out there that are doing good business. So you got to watch out, consumer beware is what I tell people on that. Also, let's talk about doors. Doors are a big part of your home. I mean, usually you got, more windows and doors in your home than any other opening in the house. So, and you're using those windows and doors all the time. If you're like me, you're opening the windows, you're getting fresh air, you're going, I got 4 kids, so my girls are going in and out doors all day long, alarms going off. So So those doors you're using a lot. You want to make sure you put a good door in. People say, what are the brands out there that you use, Don? And I tell people, I can get any window you want. So we sell Pella, Marvin, Anderson. We are a certified installer for Pella windows. So, I mean, if you want the best, we can give you the best. Now, if you just want a window that's going to do the job, you want a good vinyl window, we have that. We have the American window I've been selling for 22 years. And it's energy efficient. It's got a lifetime warranty, but you don't spend the big money. You're not going to come in and spend $2,000 a window. Some of these guys are charging $2,000, $3,000 a window. Gets outrageous for some of these high-end products. And plus, after they're done charging you all that money, they're telling you it's going to take 14 weeks to get them. So these are things that you got to watch out for as a consumer. And I tell people what makes me smart is knowing when I'm dumb. So I'm going to ask a lot of questions. You got to ask questions in this business, because if you don't, you'll be in trouble. And also, you got to pre-plan everything. I just heard a story yesterday about a lady who she ordered a bunch of windows, and she forgot about the basement windows. And the guys come to show up to put the windows in, and she's like, "What about my basement windows?" And they're like, "Ma'am, you didn't buy basement windows." So I guess she got a little confused, but she had some big basement windows. So this gentleman works for another company, was just telling me the story. So she got mad and wanted to cancel the whole contract because she didn't pre-plan and order the basement windows, and it wasn't even this company's fault. So these are things I'm talking about. You got to pre-plan your project before you start putting, feelers out there to bring guys in and buy products. So I always like to put everything on paper. Put it on paper, look at it. Say, okay, I want to do my upstairs windows, I want to do my downstairs windows, and I want to do the basement windows. Pre-plan that project. And I always tell people that's how you're going to get the best bang for your buck when guys like me come in to bid that job. You're going to be able to lay this out and say, I want my upstairs, downstairs, and my basement windows done. Because if you don't mention it to us as a contractor, sometimes we're just not going to say, hey, you want us to go in your basement? We're just going to measure the windows you tell us to. Same thing when I do a room addition or I do a patio or a porch. I want to see some kind of blueprint. I want to see a drawing. And if you don't have one, I'm going to do one for you, because we're going to come together and we're going to basically put all that together so we can educate you, and also so we can give you a good project. And that's where a good contractor is going to come in and make sure that you have everything laid out, so that way they know from A to Z, we're going to get that job and do it efficiently. So, but if you have a project out there, a window job coming up this fall, and you'd like for us to come out and look at it, and we can, even if you don't purchase windows from us or doors from us, we can educate you a little bit. And the nice thing about it is we can show you how to take that job from A to Z and make your home elegant. Well, you're listening to Elegant Home Podcast. I'm Don Reilly. Every week we share with you some of the best home improvement tips in the industry. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.